morning, everybody.
Good morning.
It is April
So
10th.
for the executive, huh?
April 10th. I have a bottle of wine for the first person that can tell me what today is. And not the date. We already know it's April 10th.
National
Is it your
Siblings
birthday?
Day.
What is it?
National Siblings Day.
Okay.
The start of the summit.
No. Start of the summit? No.
The Masters.
No.
The week of the Passover.
Well, who's
Oh, she got it.
first day of the Masters?
Oh yeah, I was just watching it like this morning.
Hey, that should be a national holiday. What's that?
It's supposed to be a race.
If Jeff was in here, he would have got it. What's today?
The first day of the Masters.
Yeah. All right, let's get started. Thanks for putting this right my way, Jeff.
It's
You're
still
welcome.
National Siblings Day.
You need coffee. You gotta be quick. You gotta be quick on the draw.
To Jeff's sword, thanks to Jeff.
I don't want it.
All right,
Anything but the.
we have some giveaways today. So first of all, from Trisha Ferris, where is she?
I'm right here.
Hey.
Tis the season to have summer games, yeah?
I'm taking that home with me.
What is that, like Jimmy?
Where's my phone?
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
It's like Jenga, yeah.
Full Jenga.
It's Jenga, but colored. I thought it was fun.
All right, so
Stacking color
we have
for your patio.
1 through 11, and then 18 and 19.
I
Who
have
did,
to,
who did that?
I was expecting 7 other people to sign in. You're quick on the draw.
So I'm going to put 1 through 19.
Perfect. I'll take.
And if 12, 13, 14, 15, or 16 come up,
That's fine.
all right. Number is 6. Who's number 6? Michael.
That's
Where is
me.
he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay!
Catch.
Yes, enjoy. Hopefully
But wait, there's more.
Oh.
Wait.
But
again.
wait, it's the price is right.
This is something, it should go in my office. None of you are agreeing.
Yeah. Get some fun stuff for your office. Decorate, guys. Decorate.
From Trisha again, and number 7.
I'm like 8.
To me.
Michelle. Because you are a big deal.
You are.
Ah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
One last thing. Forward focus. And it is number 10.
Could you shake that thing up a little bit?
It's different numbers every time.
I know. We need to get him the lottery thing off of Amazon.
The bingo ball.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Bingo, I love
Yes. All right. Where's my clicker?
More?
No more. Well, maybe later. Maybe later.
Yeah, we're on top of that.
All right.
Yeah, we got some rock stuff.
We got some rock stuff. We'll get that away later. Yep. Check it on Facebook. All right. Our breakfast sponsor this morning is A Touch of Class. And looking at what she has here, it looks pretty classy.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Hope you all got to enjoy some of the bagels and goodness. Yeah, just don't fall asleep, because then after we eat, we start to
Oh no, that's what this is for.
Oh, can I use that?
Yeah.
I didn't even hear it. That's how asleep I am. Already?
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me today. My name is Suhair Sage, and I'm the owner of A Touch Class Window Coverings, and been in business a little over 20 years. And primarily well, let's see. I have done some work around the area, Boulder City, but mainly Las Vegas, Henderson, city of North Las Vegas, and every once in a while some out of town work, but rarely. I'm a one-woman show, but I do have my licensed installers that are licensed and I have brought some products with me, but if there's anything, any questions that you guys have, feel free to interrupt, raise your hand. And I will hopefully be able to answer your questions and not say, I'll get back to you. I should know my products very well. I have worked with realtors for quite a while now and on other realtors' preferred vendor lists, so I have an idea and understanding of working with you. If you send clients to me, they're gonna get the best customer service. They're gonna be treated like they're the one and only. I don't have a office space or a store front for clients to come into and take a look at products. I'm one step better, and I think I would personally like it, and I think some of the realtors that I have worked with, I bring the product to your client, into their home. Whether it's a new home, an existing home, or homes that are still being built, we will meet in the model homes, and I can bring the products into the model homes. I can do what we call an estimated measurement of those windows, because once the home is actually ready, my installers would have to go in and do a professional measure, but I can do a rough measure to at least give them a price, so that they can anticipate in their budget, as we all know, it's very expensive living, what to anticipate when covering their windows. So that also, not having a storefront helps me keep costs down, and I can pass that savings on to clients. I know Home Depot and Lowe's, a lot easier to just walk into their store and go to the shelf and look at window coverings. This is more personal, and I feel that it would make your clients feel more comfortable and, that we're meeting their needs. And being able to bring the products into a home, you can better visualize what it's gonna look like on the windows, on the doors, versus trying to imagine and take pictures at one of the stores and then go back to your home and try to visualize. The product is here in their home. I have worked with Martha with her clients, and
Very happy.
thank you.
Very, very happy clients.
Yeah.
Bought a new build and she came in, like she said, and measured it at the model home, but then she came in once the home was finished, and her team got the full measurements, and within 2-3 weeks, everything was completed.
Yes, the shutters were, I believe, the first to go in, and then the rest went shortly after that. So depending on which product, we have about a 2-week to 4-week turnaround time. I use local manufacturers whenever I can. That of course saves on freight and shipping, but also if there's any issues, any service calls, I would have the installer or the manufacturer go to the home and repair what needs to be repaired. If it can't be, they'll take it to the manufacturer's location, get it fixed, and then return it. I don't get too many of those calls, I have to brag. Not too many service calls. I also have a 5-star rating on Google. So customer service is key. It's very, very important. Sometimes I feel like I'm selling myself more than I'm selling my product. And you gotta understand, as you guys all know, I mean, folks are turning over.
What we do as well.
Exactly, and you know that they don't know me. They don't know who I am, and yet they're about to spend $5, $10, $20, $25,000. You're gonna hand over to somebody that they don't know. They'll hand it over to Home Depot and Lowe's because they're established and they know who they are, but they're not gonna get the same service and that special attention. I can tell you, 20 years, my repeat customers, I get a lot of repeat customers, a lot of referrals, and I know my customers. I know who they are. They're not a number to me. I don't need you to show me your receipt to remember who you are. I'm able to do that, and I think that goes a long way. As you guys all know, you're in the same industry of providing customer service. So with the shutters, I use primarily a manufacturer in Pahrump. so not too far from here, and he can usually in a week to 2 weeks if it's in stock. We have different varieties. Right now, the big thing is the hidden tilt, where you're not seeing that tilt bar anymore. The hidden tilt is in the back, behind the scenes, and different colors. I got the basswood, I have the composites. I don't sell the foam or the hollow ones that just in our climate, they don't last very long. So you definitely want something that's going to be filled and it's not hollow or what's that other substance that they use? The foam, it'll disintegrate.
Is that,
So-
is that wood? Or
Yes.
plastic?
No, this is real wood. Yeah, this is basswood. The other big thing nowadays is, of course, automation, right? A lot of the products, other than the shutters, and the faux woods, are not automated, at least not yet. They're too heavy for the type of motors that they use, because the headrails are so small, the motors are very slim, and so it can only handle so much weight. But when you're dealing with, this is very popular, and the automation, we have now apps that you can download and control your windows just like you can control everything else in your home. So that's a huge thing, is the automation, the availability. Everybody wants to get on their phone and open and close their windows and lights and so on. And this is like the newest, past couple of years, it's been very, very popular, is they call it zebra shade, banded shade. Sorry, I need to paint. It closes, and it's called a dual shade primarily because it has a dual purpose. You can keep it rolled down and still be able to have visibility by simply using the continuous cord loop. And because of child safety laws, you're not gonna be seeing any more, well, any manufacturer that's following the federal requirements, the long hanging cords anymore. They're gonna be continuous cord loops for safety purposes. But yeah, so this is a really neat system here. There's standard roller shades as well. I provide lifetime warranty on my products. The motors, usually between 5 to 10 years, depending on which manufacturer I use with the motorization. But you have a lifetime warranty on all of the products, and it's nothing but a phone call. Like I said, if anything goes wrong, we'll take care of your clients. I do a lot of, lately, a lot of remodeling projects, existing homes where people just wanna, change the look. They've had the window coverings for a very long time, and it's like.
That's a good investment.
Yes, absolutely, and as we all know, shutters are considered a permanent fixture, so shutters are gonna add equity to your home, whereas all these other products are not considered permanent, and can be removed because they're all installed using the brackets. But I've been selling a lot of I think this will probably right now be my #1 sell, and then shutters second.
How do you clean those?
I'm sorry.
How do you clean, this is fabric, right?
Yes, it is fabric, yeah. All you need is really just, if you have to, a feather duster. If it does get stained, dish soap on a damp cloth. You never wanna use any other chemicals on any fabric window covers.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
Charlie, you had a question?
Yeah, what is the difference between motorized and the one that you pull on this particular?
The motorization, you're
Yeah.
gonna have a remote control,
Yes.
and the remote's gonna vary between 5 channels up to 16 channels, where you can control up to 16 windows, or 16 motors.
Yeah, but, okay, for this
So
regular, manually versus the electronic or motorized, for this particular,
Yes.
what will be the price difference on it?
Okay, I can tell you, just for the motor itself, per motor, it's
Yeah.
approximately $250, $260.
So each window will have a motor for each.
Correct,
Oh.
yes, each one has to have its own motor.
Yeah.
So, I try my best to provide, a competitive price. Your clients will mention, they mentioned where the referral came from, will automatically get 10% off. And I also provide you with a referral bonus as well. And it varies, depending on the size of the job. So,
Any other questions?
Are those Hunter Douglas?
no, this is not Hunter Douglas, this is Alta, and Alta is a subsidiary of Hunter Douglas. I do have Hunter Douglas product. I have Graber, Springs Window Fashion, Alta, local manufacturer, Blinko. So I can get just about any brand, if that's what you're looking for.
Awesome. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very
And
much for your
thank-
time.
Thank you so much for the presentation.
You're very welcome,
Thank
thank
you.
you. My flyers are on the table as well as my business card. I do take text messages, phone calls, just not after midnight.
Thanks again.
Thank you so much.
All right, Tricia.
Okay. Hey everybody. Spring has sprung. Do you know what season it is?
Masters.
Masters. You know I've been to the Masters twice.
Baseball.
I hate you.
I've been there twice. I used to do hospitality.
Ah.
Yep, and I would stay in the hotel room and drink mojitos instead of going to the Masters personally. But yes, you know what season it is?
Baseball?
Baseball. Spring. What do we do in spring if you're in warranty?
House cleaning.
House cleaning.
Spring
Okay.
cleaning.
We're getting there.
Outdoors.
If you'll follow me on Facebook, I talked about it yesterday. Come on.
That's air conditioning.
Air conditioning tune-ups.
Yeah, I had
Yes.
mine yesterday.
Yay! Awesome with American Home Shield.
Yeah.
How was it?
It was good.
Good. Jamie has hers tomorrow. Woohoo! Great. Okay, so air conditioning season. Not only is it air conditioning tune-up season, because it does end at the end of the month. So if you're looking for a reason to call your clients and say hello, you can remind them to get a tune-up. It is free with Shield Complete. If they don't have Shield Complete, it's $100. If they don't have a warranty, it's still a good reason to call your homeowners and gives you kind of a purpose. It's also open house season because we're not sweating to death. So do you guys remember these last year? These kind of my shtick. They're fun on open house signs, right? To add a little pop. They're not balloons since helium is so crazy expensive. I have a few if you want to take some for your open house or even just to put in your garden. They're my little thank you gift, okay? Okay, I brought two things to share with you guys today. Let's see. First is, I know you guys are negotiating tons of stuff in the beginning, and I'll go quick because I know they have a great presentation today. The most important thing, though, at the end is warranty. I'm not always upset when you go with a competitor, right, Martha?
No.
I have allowed it. I'm like, but at least you're closing with the warranty. The ones that concern me are the people that don't have a lot of cash, okay? Your flippers that are cash heavy, not worried. But if they don't have a lot of cash, the people that concern me are the ones that are closing without a warranty. Okay, you do not want to feel responsible. You want to be able to kick the can to somebody else when it goes kind of backwards. Okay, so warranty, the most important thing at the end of the transaction. Don't forget we have a 30-day guarantee if you've added refrigerant or some sort of cash into the HVAC. Okay, you don't have to pay for it again, and you always have 30 days. So if something goes funky, guess what? 30 days, free for us to come back and check it out. Okay, it's on this first page. I will send this out so you guys can use it with your homeowners. Now with Shield Complete, you can make a choice between tune-up or free rekey. Okay, I just had 2 agents yesterday do the free rekey with their clients, but then they paid for the tune-up. So you could still pay for one of these services, it's just the service fee, but now they have the choice. We want them to use their warranty right away, the free HVAC tune-up or the free rekey, okay? 6 locks, 4 keys, free, completely. Ta-da, the app is here. If you have a home warranty, Jamie, my friend here, make sure you download the app. You can do all of the service calls, all kinds of stuff on the app. Okay, really easy. But the most important thing, drum roll, is the experts. Nobody else is doing this, you guys. It's gonna change the game. We are like, I don't know, 8 weeks in maybe? And 38, it did drop, 38% of people that are calling in to fix things are saving themselves $100. We're saving the money to send somebody out there, and we're fixing it video chat. I had one yesterday, probably Monday, or maybe even Friday. It was just the pool flap. They called in, we're having problems, couldn't get the pool going, right? It's almost time to turn the pool on. It was just a pool filter flap. They just had to flip it up and all of a sudden it started working. How disappointed would they have been to pay $100? They got out there and the guy was like, boop. So it is saving money. So remember, you can use this. We used it yesterday to turn off water on a leaky water faucet or water heater thing. They're coming out today. But live experts, so if you have agents or homeowners that like to fix stuff themselves, they can kind of get a little help with a live expert. I won't go through all of this. I think that's pretty much it. Do you guys have any questions? Home warranty, don't forget to add it, page 5. Grab thing, nice to see everybody.
Thank you.
See, I was fast. Everybody told me I talk fast, but you guys just, keep up.
All right.
Keep up.
Rev up trainings, tomorrow's residential purchase agreement, but the most important one is next Friday is, next Friday, holding successful open house. Why is it important?
Because you're in it.
Because I'm teaching it. All right, we have lots of calendars. Here's one calendar. Let's take a look at today. Business meeting. All right, there's more.
Wait, back up. Next Friday,
Next Friday.
the 18th.
The 18th? Oh, okay, so next Friday, the 18th at LVR is a shred-a-thon. So if you have documents that need to be shredded, or you have clients that have documents that need to be shredded,
Nice.
LVR. That's passed. Next Wednesday, the 16th, is dominating LinkedIn prospecting. There's agents that are getting business off of LinkedIn, so next Wednesday, and it's via Zoom only. More Epic training, more ROC training. So let's look at today. What's today? Thursday, after business meeting, ROC Southwood, that's here. And it's going to be Chat GPT. Woo! You want to talk about it?
I'll talk about it.
Who's teaching it?
Me. Tim Sams, for those of you that don't know me by now. How's everybody?
Hi.
Good. I got chill bumps. You guys are like riveting. Speed wins in our business, right? So how do you outthink? How do you outwork? How do you outsell your competitors?
It sounds like, what's that show?
Survivor.
Survivor,
yeah.
It's survival of the fittest.
I can't believe that show's still going.
I know, right? It's like, and he hasn't even aged.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Good work.
artificial intelligence. Chat GPT.
Creative thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. And Chat GPT is what I'm talking about. I'll spend, if you'll hang out with me for 30 minutes, I'm going to talk about Chat GPT. So if you're new to it, cool. If you're seasoned, all that much better. We had a great class in Summerlin. We will talk about 3 engineering prompts so that you get the output that you're exactly looking for when you use ChatGPT. Also have a script that's interactive that will step you through and will help you with that. You'll walk with 120 real estate related prompts, and then I have 1 2-minute video that caused a lot of angst. It was like a 15-minute discussion up in Summerlin. Very moving video. So please hang out with me for 30 minutes if you're interested in dominating your business.
Here's the thing, be interested, because this is the next big thing. It really is. As much as some of us like, oh, I really just don't want it. It's here, and it's dominating, and a lot of people, not just agents, but a lot of people are using it for a real benefit to really help them in their business.
Absolutely.
So
Good.
be here or
Cool.
be square.
Thanks everybody. Appreciate you. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you. All right, food truck out there. I'm going. It's pizza stoned. It doesn't mean you have to. Never mind. So food truck every Thursday is out there. I think 11 to 1. Reminder: this has gone by. I'm not going to call any of you out. However, if you haven't paid your LVR dues, You have a late fee that's going to be tacked on. I think it's $50 late fee. And if you don't pay it, I believe by the 21st of this month, we have to cut you off, or they cut you off, okay? So if you haven't paid it, pay it. One day coming up, May 1st, for all of you that don't know, May 1st is our anniversary, Realty One Group's anniversary. And this year it is our 20th anniversary, so we're no longer going to be a teenager. We'll be 20 years old. And then there's an event going on at Realty One Group's Green Valley office with some dignitaries are going to be there, some local celebrities will be there. We're collecting stuff, where is it? Glues, all these items, and there's flyers out here for this as well. So collect stuff, buy stuff, and be there at Green Valley. All right. Epic is doing a Wednesday wind down, and so they're doing it here next Wednesday. It doesn't say the time on this, but I believe it's 4 o'clock. Yeah. So maybe Pam will bring some wine. It'll be gone by then. So yeah, next Wednesday here, wind down. Let's just have a little fun. Baseball. Who likes baseball? It's baseball season, isn't it?
Master season.
I have my aviator.
You have your aviator. Yeah, you bought it last year.
I was sweating so bad.
So every year, and it's a really cool event, is they rope off a section specifically for us. They have like a buffet with burgers and dogs and chips and soda and water specifically for us, and we have an area that we can watch the game or not watch the game if you like Michael. He doesn't like sports, but he loves it. So it's a lot of fun. It's Friday, May 2nd. And so if you're interested, talk to Stephanie. There is a charge. It's $50 per ticket. But it's a lot of fun.
It was the first time I would have caught the ball, but I looked down at my phone and then the ball hit me.
She was probably taking selfies. Knowing her. You weren't looking.
I was like trying to take a picture of it.
All right, so that's May 2nd. And then on May 15th at the Summerlin office, John Story will be there. John Story is a national speaker, coach. He's coached a lot of agents to do really big things. So he'll be speaking at the Summerlin office on May 15th. Stats, listings going up. Months of inventory going up. Solds going down.
This is good for buyers.
What's that?
This is good for buyers.
It's good for buyers. All we need now, what do we need now from it? That'll be really good for buyers.
Interest rates.
Yeah.
That right now I think would be better for buyers, because they could still
I agree.
negotiate closing
I
costs
agree.
and rate buy downs.
Yep.
But I went to that new build thing yesterday, and a lot of the builders, almost all of them said, we're buying down rates.
Yeah.
So if you bring somebody new in to a new build, you can get their rates.
So if you're working with buyers, take them into new homes. You can
4.75.
get, how much?
4.75.
Really?
Yeah.
Just need the
Did they mention anything about construction, with
I
the
think
new
it's
tariff coming in, their prices is gonna go up? With the builders?
Tariffs have been halted.
Yeah.
Any information on that from the new builders? None?
Did any of them speak on that yesterday?
Correct, sorry.
But I heard last night that the lumber and stuff is from America, so there's not gonna be tariffs on it, so it's not gonna be a major issue. Besides that, all the tariffs have
All
been
the
held.
other stuff, yeah.
Yeah, back to 10% except China. I mean,
But
it's crazy.
And I don't want wood.
So, yeah, new homes. All right. With that being said, we have our panelists. Come on up, Jamie and Kathleen.
Wayne?
All right. She says be easy on them. Look at these questions. Wait. What do you have? You got cheat sheets there?
What is he asking us here?
All right, so normally when we have a panel, it's, and everyone knows Anthony, right?
Yes.
So Anthony are going to be co-moderators, so we're gonna be ganging up on you. But normally, we'll ask questions, and then if we have any more time, which usually we don't, we open it up to questions. We're gonna flip it. We're gonna start with you guys asking questions. So, but wait.
Wait.
Introduce yourselves first.
Go ahead.
I don't care what order.
I'm Kathleen Lamarche. I've been in escrow for over 30 years. I'm a senior escrow officer, branch manager at our Southwest ROC title. I've been in Vegas since 1991.
Seen some changes, huh?
Oh, many, as you have.
Yep.
All the different, well, this wasn't here when I got to, this was all pucker bushes.
Yeah.
I'm Jaime Newmeyer. I'm branch manager and escrow officer at Green Valley. I've been in Vegas. December will be 6 years. This was my first home.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been in escrow for 26 years. Yuck.
Oh, that's good. You started as a baby.
I did.
And not to embarrass either one of them, but Anthony and Jamie. Jamie's Anthony's mother.
I just figured that out.
If you didn't know that.
2 days ago.
Just 2 days ago?
Well, not literally, but I was like, I didn't realize, I didn't connect that. The son,
Different
the
last
son.
names.
Very proud. You should be very proud.
Thank you.
All right, we're opening it up to questions.
So, I know.
How's
What
my
do you do
escrow?
about irate clients?
Yeah, we've got a client right now. Good thing we're on the same page.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys, you have a
Yeah, yeah.
buyer or seller?
Listing agent.
It's the listing agent.
Oh.
You know, typically when the clients, you could deal with their, because all the clients trip out when it comes to money.
Yeah.
You know, now that I'm experienced in the business.
Yeah.
But the agents.
Yeah.
That's rare. I mean.
Kathleen actually talked to her.
Oh.
Oh, is it that one?
Yes. I've been trying to Mark. I'm like, Mark, can you
I
handle this?
play the, I don't know, the closer, it's like, get them calm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't
Do
argue
whatever.
back with them.
Yeah.
And just do it, and then,
Yeah.
it makes it easier, and I hope if it comes to me that you would give up.
Yeah, 100%.
Sometimes it just doesn't.
Takes another voice.
You can't, you can't please everybody all the
Yeah.
time, and it's
I
hard.
think anything
no matter
we
what
say
you
to that
do.
client,
Yeah.
because now she's harassing the mortgage lender.
Yeah, it was like a train. First it was her, then
I'm on
it
all
was
those
me, now
emails,
it's
so
the lender.
you don't even have to say anything.
Yeah.
All right, questions? Sally?
I have a question. So when you do the title report and there's a lien on the property itself, so who has the responsibility to notify us or the buyer when, like mechanical lien, aside from the mortgage lien on the property? Do you notify us and then we talk to our client, or what is your procedure on
Yeah,
that?
we will I
Yes.
first would order a payoff for that to make sure that it does actually apply to that client.
Okay.
Because there are times when a social doesn't match up, maybe same last name or something. But then once we know it is their lien,
Yes.
then we let agents know first, and then depending on what the agent's process is, if you want us to contact them directly, you tell us what you want me to do.
But
Okay,
that's the importance when we send out the prelim,
yes,
to look over it, because you will see that, especially if you're the buyer's agent.
correct.
You know, we don't always notify the buyer's agent, cause we're not gonna wanna get everybody upset until we know for sure it's our person, or.
It could be a cloud on the buyer itself, right?
Well, we don't, we don't.
Not buyer until we get
We
to
do
the
search
judgment.
buyers, but a lot of times it's more like child support that comes up with a John
Yeah.
Smith.
Alright.
But
Because-
reading the prelim when it comes in, and you don't have to understand it all, but if something doesn't look right,
Right,
contact your escrow officer and say, hey, what is this, are you taking care of it?
We also do the red alert too.
Yeah, on our prelims, you should
So,
get.
Yeah, it would be nice, because I had one, for example, and we were ready to close, and there was a big issue
yeah.
on
At the
the
last
seller
minute.
itself.
Was it on the prelim?
Yeah.
It was.
And I was not notified
Yeah.
until at the end.
So there are instances where it maybe didn't show up on the prelim,
Mhm.
but at the end, we run what we call a GI search right before we record.
Mhm.
And sometimes liens that were not on the prelim, those instances, we wouldn't have been able to tell you.
Mm.
But if it was on the prelim,
Yeah.
So
we're not
here's what I would
perfect, I
typically do.
guess.
Is
Yes.
What it is too, in your handouts that I gave you, under the listing presentation kit, all you'll have to do is request that from us. We'll provide you a note before you list. It's basically gonna pull the title documents. It'll be basically an overview of the prelim, and they'll identify if there's any liens or judgments placed against the property, not against the homeowner specifically, but it does give you some insight going into your appointment, so you can have all that.
And those, usually if you order them in the morning, you'll have them the same day for the most part.
Right, yeah, now I was representing the buyer, so, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, well, see, if there's complications, then you need to involve the selling agent, but in the very beginning,
Mhm.
you don't wanna ruffle feathers if you don't have to,
Yeah.
in our end of it.
I always, when I get a prelim, I'd always reach out to the escrow officer and say, is there anything on here that I need to be concerned
are
about?
you trying to tell me you don't know how to read a prelim?
I also read them.
Yes. From the listing side, if, per se, I have a situation right now, we have a listing, the son took over when the parents passed, but the HOA still has the parents on the HOA account. Does that need to get changed before ordering demand and all of that, or would you still be able to?
Are the HOA payments being made?
Yes.
If you're going into escrow, I would leave it be and
They may, some of them will pull the chain of vesting,
Mm-hmm.
and they may double charge a transfer. I've had that before.
Okay.
You know, for the transfer fee
Yeah.
from buyer to seller, but I think
But for-
usually when it's like family
Yeah.
exempt reasons, they don't.
And if there was anything, he says he's making the payments, but if there was any like dues or anything from the previous, from his parents, obviously that would show up that it needs to get taken care of, but it
That
shouldn't.
shows up in the property profile as well, so we'll be able to send that over, shoot me an email with the address.
But if you change it over to the kid's name, they may charge a
Two
transfer fee.
times transfer.
that's kind of my point, is to avoid getting that charge. Don't open the can of worms yet. If you know we're ordering the HOA demand, tell us the parent's name if we don't already know it, and we can put that as the owner's name and not cause a red flag.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Great advice.
Question about the, land contracts. Should I start, or should we start putting more?
You're talking vacant land?
Vacant land,
Okay.
vacant land, cause last year I would put like 10 days, everything closed on time.
That's a good
This
question.
year, it was a little extension.
We have new procedures now on vacant land, and with our sellers, depending on if they're out of state, out of country, it doesn't matter. We have to send a FedEx letter to the seller, so we have proof of tracking. Then we have to have an affidavit signed, we have to run a credit report. What else is there?
Can we
That's
talk
what
about
Matt said.
why
I didn't
why
know
was
there was
there
a
a
credit
checklist?
report. Okay.
On our last one, I didn't have to run a credit report on him because he was the seller and the agent.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's going on out there is people are impersonating landowners and then listening, and sometimes they're even live and they go out and meet you at the land.
Wow.
So that's why they've implemented these procedures
I had
now.
2 of them last year, and what we do is take the address off the tax return.
Yeah, you have to.
What's there, not what anyone gives us, and, so I had 2 that we caught that were fraudulent
Yeah,
sales.
I've had clients call
I
me
didn't know that.
trying to sell their friend's land, you know, like, and
What kind of
that's in
friend?
hospice and the
Oh,
whole, I know, I'm like, whoa. One more other question. The BBRs, I see that there's a little difference this year, BBRA, in the land deals, because I haven't done too many in residential. I typically only charge the transaction fee, but in land I do charge 10%. So I charge on both, but I'm seeing that there's for the buyer side, there's extra signing or signatures. I didn't see that last year.
I don't know, do you know that?
On the
On what?
On the BBRA?
BBRA?
Oh, I'm sorry. So when you guys get the BBR and then you send the commission instructions.
If the buyer's paying part of your
Right.
commission, you mean?
Right.
There is a commission instruction that your broker signs, Mark, for your buyer and your seller, so there should be 2, and then your buyer's gonna sign a commission instruction as
Okay.
well, like your seller does.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's
So,
the same,
Does that apply for manufactured lands as well, or
like manufactured homes,
land, manufactured land? In the manufactured home community, but it's a land, it's just
It's
a
just a
land,
lot.
it's just the lot, yeah.
still vacant lot.
that's,
So it's just
that's treated as
same
vacant
as
land.
vacant land,
okay.
yeah.
And if there's a mobile home that's not converted on it, we do not insure the mobile home, only
Only
the land.
That was it.
Any other questions? Martha?
We actually, my partner and I asked this, why is it that when a cash buyer is signing closing docs, they're not required to have a notary? They can
Because
do it online?
there's nothing to be notarized.
There's no loan
They
docs.
can DocuSign, e-sign.
Okay, and so you just ask for ID, proof of ID?
They have to send us their ID, yeah,
That's it?
that's it.
On the buyer side, they send driver's license.
Cash. Uh-huh.
Right.
Well, both buyer and seller upload their driver's license, and if they
Our
can't
system
upload.
asks for it automatically.
Yeah.
If you log
Yeah.
into
They,
it,
so
yeah.
they have a quality
It just
account as
asks.
well?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep, and then if they don't wanna use Qualia Connect and deal with the tasks and everything, when they sign with the notary, but not on cash, they send it with their docs. So there's a copy of the ID there, and then if not, we ask when we DocuSign for them to send it.
So I had a client, and then so there was just a name clarification. But I was like, Cindy, so should I be more enforceable on the buyer side when it comes to cash as far as sending the driver's license to me?
I would.
Yeah.
You probably don't want any of your clients sending you personal information.
Well, then that
You
too.
can help it. It
Right,
should be
I was-
directed directly to escrow.
Okay.
It's less risk for you.
Okay, right.
Social security numbers, stuff like that.
I know, I feel so weird when
Don't-
they send.
You should
Yeah,
just
don't-
send them directly
Have them
to your
deal
escrow.
directly.
Right, okay. And
So
then-
driver's license, no?
I would say send it
Yeah.
directly to escrow, because unless you guys have less
Liability.
liabilities on them.
Right.
Hey,
Oh,
what's
I sent you
Qualia?
my driver's license, like, I didn't ask you to.
What's Qualia?
Our system that we
Our
use,
program, like your.
it's what figures the file.
Extra security, that's why I like using you guys.
Yeah,
Go for it, go for it.
Just a FYI, ever since we started using the BBRA, have you ever had an incident where the seller decided they don't want to pay the buyer brokerage commission?
Talking about
Even
after they
During
agree to it?
Yeah, during the closing.
Oh.
This is just a question that
Yes.
I wanted to.
Great question.
Well,
Yeah.
the buyer doesn't wanna pay it?
No,
No,
seller.
no, the seller.
Even though the seller agreed to it on
Agreed on
the
the
purchase
contract.
agreement,
Yes.
but then they say no. Maybe they're signing and
Well,
they say no.
unless you, the agent and your broker signs off that they don't have to pay it, we're not closing escrow.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not closing
No.
escrow. Oh,
Unless
very
we get in
good.
writing that they don't
That's
have to
good.
pay it. I mean,
Yeah.
otherwise that makes us liable to pay your commission.
Correct.
Oh,
No.
if you pay it and they say no?
And I like my paycheck.
Yeah.
So that,
That's
protects us
interesting.
also too then, when we
Yeah.
have that contract signed. That's good. That's good to know.
But you guys have a listing agreement, so it's,
No,
Well,
it's a
and it's on the
buyer's.
purchase agreement.
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
So back on the BBRA thing, because I know Realty One Group now requires an addendum to the BVRA, do you guys require that? Let's say we agree to 3% and then the buyer is actually, yeah, you're taking less or whatever. Do you guys need an addendum?
No, they're just going off the purchase
We
agreement.
appreciate it.
But on the buyer's
Well,
side,
if
it's
I
not.
need your signed BBRA, that's instructing, saying your buyer's agreeing to it, we're gonna send out our commissions that your broker's gonna sign. So, and the buyer will sign agreeing once again, just like it's just treated like the seller, so I mean, I personally don't need the addendum to.
I don't
but
Do you guys
Is there any way we
ask
can
for the
vote?
BVRA on all?
Only if you tell us that the buyer's paying.
A certain
Right.
amount.
So they only get the BVRA if the buyer is paying part of it.
Certain.
Otherwise, they just go off the
But if-
purchase agreement.
You should automatically kind of send it, because I've had an instant where at the very last minute, the selling agent said, well, the buyer's paying 0.5%, and now the lender has already drawn docs, and now they have to go back and redisclose, and it delays the closing. So it's better to let escrow know off the get-go, your transaction fee,
If the buyer's paying any kind of difference.
Yep.
So I guess the next question is to Realty One Group, why do we need that addendum? And can we get rid of it?
We're not dealing with that now.
It is a
This
headache.
is escrow.
I have a question.
They have a reason for
Last
legal.
year, it wasn't you guys, it was a title company I'm not gonna mention, but, so the seller, it was a 2 transaction, and the seller was like, I'm not gonna pay this other transaction. And they didn't pay with no addendum, no email notice, so, you know, I was like, okay. You know, moving forward, I've let it go to an extent, because it was a very small amount, but still a principle of
Yeah.
the
I
fact.
don't know, how did the escrow company close? I mean, because in the beginning,
Yeah.
we're asking, what's your commission
Yeah.
split? What's your transaction fee?
Right,
They
We
took
got your
instructions from the other
instructions,
agents.
yeah,
Broker
But I
signs
mean, I still have an obligation, we don't represent either side,
Yep.
we're neutral, so we have an obligation
right.
to say, hey, did you agree to this? If
Absolutely
so, I
not.
need your
You know,
broker
like, who
to
works for
sign
free?
off on our
You know?
commission.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, that's,
Yeah.
you probably could have thought that.
Yeah.
I have a question regarding FERPTA. Sorry, I'm a little bit confused because I have clients with EIN number, they have their LLC here, but they live outside the country, so.
Do they file taxes annually
Yes,
here in the US?
yeah, yes, so that's,
Well, depends, you have to go in and look, there's a test on irs.gov that in FERPTA, you do FERPTA, there's a test for people to take that tell you if you qualify, if you're exempt or not. If you are actual, need to do withhold, and I can't remember off the top of my head what it is, but there's a test, actual test. They go in and they answer. There's some LLCs, and I would have to look into it, that are exempt. There's some, like green card type things that are exempt people, but, we'd have to look into that a little bit more for the
well, my
LLC.
concern is
They may be
if
exempt
my
from
seller would lie,
the withhold.
so what is my liability if they lie? That they're,
Well, if
let's
you're
say-
asking them, are you foreign, and they sign and you don't answer that question on your contract you made
Right.
with them, you can control, I mean, you're not gonna dig into their personal, this is our view, we're going off your contract. And I just had a call for that on taxes for one that closed last year. The sister called she said, we need to know how much you withheld, and I looked and I go, we didn't withhold anything for FERPTA because the contract's stating that they're non-foreign. I mean, so who am I to,
Right,
you know, I'm going off, so actually that seller, but if they're out of the country, how are you gonna go after them?
It's a good question.
So
And
the
that falls-
sister asked that?
Well, because she's doing her taxes.
Oh.
And so the woman thought that we withheld the 15%, and I'm like, no. Well, the agent said it would be okay, and well, we'll have to go to that agent, I wasn't in that conversation.
Yeah.
I already told you that, but, so FERPTAs are very tricky, and that's why we go like this. They're hard, and when we talk about FERPTAs too, we're talking from an escrow point. The best thing is to talk to a tax person who deals with FERPTAs or a FERPTA
And
attorney
you don't
or.
wanna get yourself in trouble by saying too much. So you don't wanna dive into that, because then anything you tell them,
They'll say,
well, you told me, you know, you
Because
just
we
refer them to a
really
CPA.
can't tell you
And let the
anything.
CPA handle it.
We're not
Okay.
supposed to tell you anything, we're not supposed to fill out
In us,
forms.
we send you the forms, we can't help fill
We're
out.
not even supposed to, I do it out of courtesy.
Yes.
So we could get as much as we can to the IRS, especially if they don't have a tax ID number, but they need to talk to probably a tax person.
So the FERPTA, I'm actually on the FERPTA, but on the seller side. So it means tax withholding?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's 15% of the sales price.
I see.
And we send it
So you
off to the
take it out,
IRS.
is that what that means?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
So it's a withholding for the IRS. So we do send the money to the IRS. The IRS holds it until they file their taxes.
Oh,
Tell your
Seller's
client to
burden.
talk to their tax person.
yeah, yeah.
And that keeps you out of.
I'm not on the
buyer,
FERPTA,
yeah.
the buyer side, but
Yeah.
But the
still
FERPTA, just so you
FERPTA.
understand the buyer side.
Yeah.
The buyer has to complete FERPTA forms because they are the withholding agent.
Oh.
Because if it's not done properly, they could go after a buyer for the FERPTA money.
So
But
I
you
need to
don't-
give you guys, forms?
No.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to worry about it because we're gonna withdraw from the seller and send the funds ourselves
But
to
you
the
still
IRS too,
need
but the
the-
buyer will sign.
There are
I see.
forms that, for the IRS, that it says, withholding agent, and that would be your buyer.
Okay.
And you want that because you want the IRS to be, they got the money, hey,
Yeah.
you got the money.
Right.
From the seller, so you just have to understand that risk of a buyer that's.
So I have a question about title insurance. Is it required on a cash deal?
Not for buyers.
That's for
There's
a
an
lender.
I
Owner's
get
policy.
that question a lot.
Oh,
Okay, so just so everybody's clear, an owner's policy, the seller will always pay on a transaction. That covers the sales price of the home, protects them from any fraud, protects them from any liens and judgments, all of that. A lender policy is what the buyer pays, it's an ALTA policy, and that is protecting the lender. So the lender will always require an ALTA policy, but it has nothing to do with the owners,
Interesting.
Just the buyer pays it.
just the buyer pays it.
What else?
Are we going handy dandy list?
You got a question?
well, he's got all kinds of questions.
So do I.
Alright, I gotta do
You
one.
don't have,
He's got
so-
his list too.
So, when you guys are in the transaction, do you guys have preferences on how the agent communicates to you?
Just
Whether it's
communicate.
phone call,
It's up-
email?
I prefer the agent to tell me how they like to communicate, and I will. Because some agents don't want phone calls,
That's
they
true.
prefer email, you
Yeah.
know? So it's whatever's, because you guys are out running, trying to get your sales and everything in, and you
Taking
don't always
selfies.
wanna be, selfies. Yeah, you may not want phone calls all the time, so.
Wrong time, I missed the ball.
I mean, emails are great, cause then we have track of everything on both
Yes.
sides.
Yes, email.
Yeah, that is the best way. I mean, obviously, we wanna talk to you and see your pretty faces, but we want
This way you
information in
have-
our files,
for
so
your-
we have direction.
You have, how down the road happens.
I got another question. Spouse is not on the contract and not on the loan. Can we put them on the deed at close of escrow?
Yes. They could be put on the deed at the close, but you have to get permission from the buyer's lender.
From the buyer, the lender.
If they say it's okay, and escrow do not care who goes on title, as long as the lender, because it's gonna be on their deed of trust.
Yeah.
Right.
So the lender has to,
And then we gotta match with the deed of trust on the vestings.
What he said, what if they're married?
No, if they're married,
They're
it's
either
gonna do a spousal
deed or,
but sometimes there's non-borrowing spouse.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Is that something to do with the community property?
well, it depends on how they're gonna hold title. But as far as just being married and not being on the loan but wanting to be on the title of the home, they're either gonna sign a spousal if they're not gonna be on the title of the home, or the lender has to approve a non-borrowing spouse and add the wife or husband, whoever the spouse is, to the deed of trust.
So in this situation, when, can you do a quick claim deed right after the documents are signed, so you don't have to get approval from the lender
Well,
to transfer?
here's the deal with that, okay. Us in escrow do not prepare and record documents that we're not insuring, okay? So there are companies out there, there's Nevada legal forms. We really can't tell you it's okay, because when your buyer's signing on that note and deed of trust, they're signing a due on sale clause. Which means, if the lender goes and decides they wanna pull the chain of title and they say, hey, you added John Smith, you know, we could call your loan due payable. Do they do that if you're making your payments and it's your spouse? Normally not. But
They can.
just so you understand, I mean, we can't tell you that or not, but
Right, okay.
people do it.
Interesting.
What if you closed on a home and the mortgage company forgot to tell the escrow company that the home was in a trust, and so it didn't get recorded properly?
The lender forgot to tell.
Yeah.
Everybody forgot to tell title?
Yes,
Well, then everything.
So you're referring to the buyer, right?
yes.
So the buyers wanted to purchase in their trust.
Yes.
They should have notified title.
Probably what happened was the lender wouldn't allow them to lend into the trust.
Yes.
That's another
Yeah, that's
lender.
But why wouldn't they just tell them that?
They should have.
Because, yeah, if they say, okay, then they have them sign usually as a trustee
Yeah.
and an individual, like on the deed of trust. And then we're instructed to put it in there, but once again, that falls under adding a spouse or transferring after the fact into your trust. But
So you have to.
somebody dropped the ball, it sounds like, if they were,
100%.
you know.
So what do they do now?
They just go to one of the companies that draws deeds, put it in the trust and have it recorded.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not that big.
It's not a,
Is
Oh,
there,
it's not that big of a deal?
is there a list of companies that do that, or?
You know, there is that, Quick Claim USA, but I had a client go through that, they charged him like $3,000.
What?
No,
No.
I am quitting
No.
escrow and going into the
Right?
business, you know?
one of our notaries that we use all
No,
the
don't
time,
quit.
Heather Harms, she started her own deed
Oh, did
service.
she?
So what she will do
You guys share
is,
her information.
yeah, she'll
Yeah,
contact
thank you.
the client, get all the information that she needs to prepare the deed. She'll prepare it, she'll go notarize them and record it at the county. And I think, don't quote me on it, you'll have to ask her, but I think the cost is $300.
That's not bad if she's notarizing and running and getting it recorded.
Yeah.
Also, that's,
Las
Sounds
Vegas
better than
legal
3,000,
forms also
right?
does do that.
yeah.
And they're paralegal, Las Vegas legal forms, like Charleston and, Valley.
Yeah, Nevada legal forms.
Yeah, those do
You,
that.
they have them there, they can help you, with that. The main thing that if you're adding a spouse, make sure they do joint tenants or
Community property
like right or survivorship, because I have a probate right now that they thought they were doing the right thing. The aunt added the niece and the niece's husband, and they did tenants in common. Well,
Did
that
Auntie die?
auntie died,
50% probate?
Oh my god.
her,
Yeah.
so, well, actually it's 2/3.
Oh, 2/3, right.
So, but they had to stop the escrow from November, it's just now coming to fruition to close. And it was simple words of joint tenants over tenants in common. That they had to do that,
If
so
you're gonna do
it's
tenants in common, make sure to include with rights of survivorship, cause that would avoid
If
probate.
they did it through.
Well, the tenants in common breaks out in interest,
Yeah.
so however many
So they don't
people there
have
are,
really-
the interest is split up that many ways, so this was a third.
Mhm.
So she had to probate the aunt, so she gets 2/3, her husband's getting a third. But if you could ask any title company, we have them, Anthony, for our vesting, we have a vesting form that breaks down and explains the vesting for our clients.
Can you send me that, please? Another question on, community property. If you bought a house and then were married after you bought the house, does that, spouse have to sign anything when you go to sell?
Yeah.
The minute you get married, your spouse has interest in your property.
Correct, okay, cause someone was arguing with me that no, anything before you got married,
No.
and I said, not in Nevada as far as I know.
No.
As soon as you get married, all their stuff, You have interest,
Yours
that is a
is
community
yours
property
or
state.
whatever.
Wow, so that means that the courts can make you sell? I mean.
Well, not.
Just don't get married.
Just don't get married.
Wow.
There's that.
I'll take that
I never take my own advice.
Still got time, Mike.
When they get married, if 6 years down the road, they're going to divorce court, and, you know, the one that signed off their interest, they could prove that they've spent X amount of dollars supporting that household. You know, the courts are gonna override that spousal deed anyway, but.
Because of the longevity.
But for us, and we require it to remove that interest for the title insurance.
Unreal. Well, that makes me happy on my ex.
All right, it's 10:30, a little after 10:30. One more question. Who has a question? Make it a good one. Anthony?
These are great
Got a good
ones.
one?
So what do you guys see, or what have you guys been seeing recently that are causing delays in closing due to life of escrows?
Well, new vacant land requirements.
Yeah, right. But you never answered that question. Maybe I didn't fully ask what he's asking. Like, so how many days should I put in there because of the new law?
I would just do 15.
15?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to be safe.
Yeah.
Because we have to FedEx the time.
Right.
You know, and then if the sellers are international,
Yeah.
that's longer time because FedEx doesn't go overnight.
Got you.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's a few days.
Release some
You're saying
headaches.
15-day close?
Just on vacant land with
Cash.
cash.
I have a quick question.
Last question.
Okay, so, I have a seller, there's 3 in the title, the mom, the dad, and then the son. The son is here in the United States, but the parents are gone.
Okay.
I mean, they move out of the country.
Uh-huh.
So what do they do in order for them to,
To sign?
yeah,
Are they US citizens?
yeah,
Okay. Do they have email?
I don't know. but
Okay.
They're very old.
Oh, okay. Well, they're sellers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so 2 options. We have remote online notaries that we can do if they have computer, internet, all that. That's the easiest option. We've got the consulate that they would have to make an
You have to
appointment and
go
go
to
to. And consulates take a minute.
All
Just to
depends
get
on where they're
appointments.
at, and yeah.
What country?
Philippines.
I just did one with Sue, and it was in the Philippines, and they did a remote online
Do they
signing.
have a passport?
Easy peasy.
Yeah, they,
Right.
they do.
So if they have that in a phone or a laptop with a camera, they will just be vetted. When the notary calls, they'll ask them like 5 quick questions. They have to be, and I don't know what they are, but they have to be able to answer them. And so they do need email also, so
Yeah.
so
They
if you get a
actually
family
pull the
member
credit
come
reports up and
Like the
ask them
IRS.
questions based on that credit report.
Yeah.
That
Right.
they have to be them in order to answer those correctly.
And if they can't, they have to wait 24 hours and do it again. But that's the quickest, easiest way for them to sign.
Yep.
Would be the electronic signing.
So they don't need to go to the consulate.
If they
If
are
they-
able to do the remote online. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And if they can't, make their appointment now.
It's like start and just get it done.
Yeah.
Well, a big thank you to Jamie, Kathleen, and Anthony. Wait, we have giveaways, don't we?
Giveaway items. Also, one more thing. If you guys have any escrow questions down the line, I handed out some Meet the Team flyers. It's gonna have both Kathleen and Jamie's contact info on there. So if you guys have anything down the line that you might, have a question on, feel free to reach out to them. They'll be here as a resource to help you guys out.
Everybody sign?
Yes.
What are we giving away?
Oh, so we have some swag items here. So it's gonna be our journal and pen, as well as let's go ahead and grab this chapstick and then some fuzzy socks.
Yay. Can't get called twice.
Then also, the girls are gonna be here for a little bit after. So if you guys want to introduce yourself, or, you can go ahead and chat it up with them for a little bit.
All right, number 5. pounds.
You're funny.
Hey, really, look at it. Don't put it in water numbers for me.
That would have that's big.
One more.
One more.
But I was close though.
All right, number 2. Go. Winner must be present. All right, we'll give it to her. Don one. All right, thank you all so much. Remember, no matter how you slice it, greatness is a choice. Let's go out there and be great.